Question 1. A global e-commerce company needs to ensure high availability and automatic failover. The application runs in multiple AWS regions. If one region goes down, traffic should be routed to the next closest region. Latency-based routing should be supported. Which solution should be used? Options: A. Use Amazon Route 53 with failover and latency-based routing. B. Use AWS Global Accelerator with regional endpoint failover. C. Use an ELB with auto-scaling across multiple regions. D. Use an application load balancer with DNS failover. Correct answer: A. Use Amazon Route 53 with failover and latency-based routing. Explanation: Route 53 provides latency-based routing and failover capabilities. It ensures users are directed to the nearest available AWS region. If a region fails, it automatically reroutes traffic. Why not other options? Option B. Global Accelerator improves performance but is not a failover mechanism. Option C. ELB only works within a single region, not across multiple regions. Option D. ALB does not handle cross-region failover. Route 53 is required. Question 2. A video streaming company needs to store and distribute thousands of video files to a global audience. Low latency and high availability are critical. Storage should be cost-effective with fast retrieval speeds. Streaming should be scalable and handle millions of requests per second. Which AWS storage solution is the best fit? Options: A. Amazon S3 with S3 intelligent tiering. B. Amazon Elastic File System (EFS). C. Amazon FSx for Windows File Server. D. Amazon S3 Glacier Deep Archive. Correct answer: A. Amazon S3 with S3 intelligent tiering. Explanation: S3 is highly scalable and optimized for high-performance content delivery. S3 intelligent tiering automatically moves files between hot and cold storage to optimize costs. Integrates well with Amazon CloudFront for low-latency global content delivery. Why not other options? Option B. EFS is for file storage, not optimized for media streaming. Option C. FSx for Windows is for Windows-based workloads, not streaming. Option D. Glacier Deep Archive is for long-term archival, not real-time streaming. Question 3. A data processing company needs to run large-scale batch jobs on AWS. Jobs are compute-intensive but run only a few times per day. Cost savings are a priority. Workloads should scale up automatically when needed. Which solution should be used? Options: A. Use AWS Lambda for processing. B. Use Amazon EC2 Spot instances with auto-scaling. C. Use AWS Batch with EC2 on-demand instances. D. Use Amazon RDS for computation. Correct answer: B. Use Amazon EC2 Spot instances with auto-scaling. Explanation: EC2 Spot instances provide significant cost savings over on-demand EC2. Auto-scaling ensures the correct number of instances is used. Best suited for batch jobs that can tolerate interruptions. Why not other options? Option A. Lambda is not ideal for long-running batch processing. Option C. AWS Batch is good, but using on-demand EC2 is costlier than Spot instances. Option D. RDS is a managed database, not meant for computation. Question 4. A healthcare company wants to expose an API only to internal AWS resources, not the Internet. APIs must be accessible only to EC2 instances and Lambda functions within the VPC. The API should not have a public endpoint. Which solution ensures secure API access? Options: A. Use an API gateway with AWS WAF to restrict access. B. Deploy API gateway with a VPC endpoint. C. Host the API on an EC2 instance with a security group. D. Use a CloudFront distribution to restrict access. Correct answer: B. Deploy API gateway with a VPC endpoint. Explanation: API gateway with a VPC endpoint ensures that APIs remain private. Only resources inside the VPC can access the API. No public internet exposure is required. Why not other options? Option A, WAF is for web filtering, but it does not make an API private. Option C, EC2 hosted APIs are harder to manage and secure than API gateway. Option D, CloudFront is for caching, not restricting internal access. Question 5. A company wants to deploy AWS infrastructure in a repeatable, automated way. They need to provision EC2, RDS, and S3 consistently across environments. Manual deployment should be minimized. The solution should be scalable and version controlled. Which AWS service should they use? Options: A. AWS Elastic Beanstalk, B. AWS CloudFormation, C. AWS OpsWorks, D. AWS Code Deploy. Correct answer: B. AWS CloudFormation. Explanation: CloudFormation allows infrastructure as code, IAC. Templates ensure consistency across deployments. Supports version control and rollback. Why not other options? Option A, Elastic Beanstalk is for application deployment, not full infrastructure. Option C, OpsWorks is chef-based, but CloudFormation is more widely used. Option D, Code Deploy is for deploying applications, not infrastructure. Question 6. An e-commerce company is running its main transactional database on AWS. The database must support automatic failover. Low latency reads across multiple AWS regions are required. Database should be managed to reduce operational overhead. Which solution should be implemented? Options: A. Amazon RDS Multi-AZ deployment, B. Amazon Aurora Global Database, C. Amazon DynamoDB Global Tables, D. Amazon ElastiCache for Redis. Correct answer: B. Amazon Aurora Global Database. Explanation: Aurora Global Database allows read replicas in multiple regions with fast replication, typically under 1 second. If a primary region fails, it can promote a secondary region to primary within minutes. Provides automated failover and high availability. Why not other options? Option A, RDS Multi-AZ is good for high availability, but does not support cross-region replication. Option C, DynamoDB Global Tables are ideal for NoSQL workloads, but not for transactional SQL databases. Option D, ElastiCache for Redis is for caching, not a primary database solution. Question 7. A manufacturing company is deploying thousands of IoT sensors that send data every second. The data must be processed in real time. The system should scale automatically and support streaming analytics. Data should be stored for historical analysis. Which solution should be used? Options: A. Amazon S3 and AWS Glue, B. Amazon Kinesis Data Streams and AWS Lambda, C. Amazon RDS and Amazon SQSD Amazon EMR with Apache Spark. Correct answer: B. Amazon Kinesis Data Streams and AWS Lambda. Explanation: Kinesis Data Streams allows real-time data ingestion from IoT devices. AWS Lambda can process each data stream event serverlessly. This architecture is fully scalable and cost-efficient. Why not other options? Option A, S3 and Glue are best for batch processing, not real-time streaming. Option C, RDS and SQS are not designed for high-speed real-time data ingestion. Option D, EMR with Spark is better for batch processing of large datasets. Question 8. A company wants to provide temporary AWS access to developers without sharing long-term IAM credentials. Developers should access AWS services only when needed. Access should be revoked automatically after use. Authentication should integrate with the company's identity provider. Which AWS service should be used? Options: A. AWS IAM with long-term access keys, B. AWS IAM Identity Center, AWS SSO, with role-based access control, C. AWS Secrets Manager for rotating credentials, D. Amazon Cognito user pools. Correct answer, B. AWS IAM Identity Center, AWS SSO, with role-based access control. Explanation. AWS SSO integrates with identity providers like Active Directory or Okta. Developers can log in and assume temporary AWS roles based on their permissions. No need to store or rotate long-term access keys. Why not other options? Option A, long-term access keys increase security risks and must be manually revoked. Option C, Secrets Manager is for managing credentials, not for controlling temporary AWS access. Option D, Cognito is mainly for customer authentication, not AWS resource access. Question 9. A data science team is running large-scale machine learning, ML, training workloads. The workload is compute-intensive and runs periodically. The team wants to minimize cost while ensuring timely completion. Spot interruptions should not impact the job's final output. Correct answer, B. Use AWS Batch with EC2 Spot instances. Explanation. AWS Batch automatically provisions EC2 Spot instances to run ML workloads at the lowest possible cost. It handles job queuing and retries if a Spot instance is terminated. Cost savings of up to 90% compared to on-demand instances. Why not other options? Option A, on-demand EC2 instances are expensive for periodic workloads. Option C, AWS Lambda is not suitable for long-running ML training jobs. Option D, AWS Glue is for ETL jobs, not ML training. Question 10. A news website experiences spikes in traffic and high read requests. The backend database must handle millions of read requests efficiently. Most of the content is static and does not change frequently. The company wants to reduce database costs. Which solution should be implemented? Options. A. Increase the database instance size in RDS-B. Enable Amazon ElastiCache in front of the database. C. Use DynamoDB instead of RDS-D. Use S3 to store dynamic content. Correct answer, B. Enable Amazon ElastiCache in front of the database. Explanation. ElastiCache caches frequently accessed data, reducing database load. It improves read performance and scales efficiently. Ideal for high read, low update scenarios. Why not other options? Option A, increasing the RDS instance size is costly and does not scale well. Option C, DynamoDB is great for NoSQL, but not for relational workloads. Option D, S3 is for static files, not dynamic database queries.